Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another 1 vs 1. I'm back! I'm doing some content for you guys. So this is obviously Xel'Naga, and this is a replay between Incredible Miracles MVP here as the Blue Terra, and up in this corner we've got one of my favorites coming out of Korea as well, the Red Xel'Naga on Xel'Naga Caverns. Very good map, very preferred by many players, especially Terrans. It's a smaller map than most other GSL-based maps, and these are both regular GSL contenders, mostly playing in Korea. Although IMLosira and MVP both of them did very well at MLG, and I'm really happy to see these two people going at each other because they're both really good players, and I cannot wait to see how this turns out. As you can see, we have IMLosira opting for the gas extractor trick, which is odd to me because I used to think that that was not as good as the 9 Overlord, but hey, you live, you learn. So this is Xel'Naga Caverns, as I told you before. Notably interesting because it has this multifaceted way of moving through, i.e. it's easy to counterattack, and if you don't have vision of both sides of the map, it's very easy to sort of go around, and counterattacks are easy, which is nice for Zerg, but also it's got a lot of tight corners, and there's not a lot of wide open areas for Zerg to get good flanks. As you can see here, we have a very common TVZ opening going on for our friend MVP. He's opening up with a 2 racks opening. Fairly standard, very aggressive, very hard for the Zerg to deal with. IMLosira going for a 15 hatch. And you probably should see the spawning pool just as soon as he can get enough minerals, which is right now. There you go. Now this is going to be an interesting opening because what we're going to see here is now that IMLosira has looked and he sees the 2 racks happening, he does know that he's going to have to do something. He's in a really rough spot, and he has to make sure that he can get... First of all, he's got to defend. This SCV is going to come up here. He's going to see the 15 hatch, and he's going to drop a bunker. The bunker is going to need to be killed by IMLosira unless he wants those Marines to just do tons of damage. Oh, look at that. Look at that. He's like sort of facing up at us. As you can see, both of his racks are rallied to the front of his base, so he is planning on doing this trick. He's going to take a look around and see, yes, indeed, there is a 15 hatch. And now comes the scary part for the Zerg. He knows that bunker is going to go down. He's seen the 2 racks. And then, oh, there you go. Then the bunker goes down for MVP. IMLosira pulling drones off the line to deal with this. He does drop a spine crawler, smart idea, but now he is responding in pretty much the appropriate way, but he backs off because he knows that those Marines are just going to cause too much drone hits. A second bunker goes down. Another rough spot for the Korean Zerg. IMLosira, this is a very hard thing to break, especially if one of those bunkers finishes, and he knows it. He's got to get those bunkers down, but those Marines just do so much damage versus those drones. Now, if first bunker has finished, that's going to be a really hard spot, but it is kind of far back, so he won't have direct threats to his hatchery, but there is going to be a lot of annoying sides of this. He is going to take the watchtowers here to do a counterattack and also to stop any support coming to keep this going. But it does stop IMLosira from doing anything aggressive or annoying. As you can see, more Marines coming now that that bunker has gone down. This is a really rough spot. Lots of pressure for the Zerg player. IMLosira responding, not much at all actually. We do have an attack at the front here by IMLosira with a few Zerglings just to take out any Marines that come out inadvertently. They are rallied behind that supply depot, and so we're not going to see a whole lot of damage come from them, but just to annoy and maybe force a repair. Marines do go into the main, however, and they are going to hit on these drones, not in a good way. This drone's going to try and do a little surround here, but MVP with amazing Marine micro moves himself into the corner where he takes that much damage. The Queen is now out, and some of those Marines are at very low health, which they can be picked off rather easily. IMLosira is going to have to play this absolutely perfectly because really that 2 racks just paid off in spades for MVP. But now the Marines are going to be officially down, which means that this bunker is probably going to be salvaged in just a moment here. As you can see, though, Following up with that opening, we do have 2 ports being proxied over here, and if we look at the Losira cam, he doesn't see it. So Tech Labs going down on both of them, and he's sacking that bunker there. So now Losira, being held a little bit back and still being pressured by these Marines, is now got to deal with a 2-port Banshee reaction, which is awesome. I love like that's a great transition. That's the way to play versus they make drones faster, so they have to be managed with just having more stuff. And his reaction here with a Roach Warren, because he just does not see the 2 ports here, he's not going to put down an Evo chamber quite yet, and he's not going to have a response for just the amount of Banshees coming out. And they are now almost finished. So these 2 Banshees, as soon as they come out, are going to be a major headache for our friend Losira. Scouts it, but just a little bit too late. Trying to do a little bit of damage here to force the stop in production, so they have to lift off. They do lift off, but not before 2 Banshees are out on the field. A Evolution Chamber is now down, but it's not finished yet. Now, one of the Queens had low health and dies almost immediately. The second Queen goes down, so these 2 Banshees, while they are at mid-health now, there's just nothing to defend against this. There's 1 Queen, and this Queen's just going to get annihilated by the Banshees here. Mule comes down to try and do emergency on-field repairs for this Banshee. That's a really awesome thing. I love seeing that. But it's still going to go down, and we will not able to repair fast enough. This Banshee going to have to... Amazing response, by the way, by Losira here. He saw this a bit too late to not take any damage, but just click is a freaking sharpest attack at responding. As you can see, huge Zergling reaction going on, a counterattack. And the supply depot is actually up! Oh my god, he's got it! There you go, he's in the base, he kills 1 Marine, and then MVP, GG's. Talk about a quick back and forth. For a little bit there, I was absolutely determined that 2-port Banshee was just not going to be responded to in time, that was going to be game, but wow. That counterattack and just that one mistake of not putting up a supply depot cost him the game. That's amazing. Alright, good game. I will see you guys next time.